but they are both equally impressive. Lisa Leslie is a seasoned veteran, a two-time All-Star MVP, and quite possibly the next WNBA MVP. Jackie Stiles is new to the league this season, an all-around offensive threat. She's the all-time leading scorer in NCAA history and may soon be the next WNBA Rookie of the Year. Tonight, it's the experience versus the energetic as the Sparks battle the fire. Right here, right now, on ESPN. The numbers are oh so impressive for Lisa Leslie this year. All that is missing from her professional resume is a WNBA championship ring, and in her first season, Jackie Stiles has proven that she is indeed most likely the Rookie of the Year after being the leading scorer in the history of the NCAA. The Portland Fire finishing up their regular season. The Sparks going on to the playoffs. Hi, I'm Pam Ward. Welcome to the WNBA on ESPN. We know which 8 teams are making the playoffs. The question on this last night of the regular season is where will they finish? Who will get home court? The Miami Soul, one of those teams who are wondering. They're taking on Charlotte tonight as we watch Tammy Sutton-Brown with the putback, low-scoring first half. Charlotte up by 1 at the half. If Miami wins, they will clinch second place in the Eastern Conference, get home court in their first-round series against the Liberty. The Liberty are playing in Washington, playing Washington home tonight. If New York beats Washington and Miami loses, New York would get the number 2 seed and home court in the first round. The West is even more confusing. That's why we have people like Michelle Tafoya and Doris Burke in Portland. They'll call the game. We'll see you back here at halftime when Van Chancellor will join me to talk about his team, the Comets. But first, here's Michelle.
All right, Pam, you are correct. The West is terribly confusing, but we're going to clear it up. And one thing's for sure, LA is the number 1 seed, and they are coming off a rare win at Utah. Welcome, everyone. Michelle Tafoya, Doris Burke. Great to have you with us. We hope to clarify all these scenarios. And Jackie Stiles of the Portland Fire hopes to clarify for the voters out there why she may be the best candidate for Rookie of the Year. They get their last look at her tonight, the voters, in her final season. She has been something special.
Well, it's rare when a rookie meets lofty expectations. Jackie Stiles has exceeded expectations. She's a fearless competitor, and like she was anticipated to be, she's a threat to score from anywhere on the floor. Shoots an eye-popping 43% from 3, attacks the rim with ferocity, and it is a very close race between her and Lauren Jackson for Seattle. We'll see what happens in that Rookie of the Year voting.
It is very close. One race that is not going to be so close, we don't think, is the race for MVP. And Lisa Leslie, maybe more than, maybe compares to year 1 when Cynthia Cooper ran away with it. Maybe this is the year for someone to run away with it, Lisa Leslie.
Well, hands down, the MVP. She's the best player on the best team. Her numbers back that up in the top 10 in 4 different categories. She has been consistent, and she has been a tough match for defenses. She is the MVP of the WNBA.
She is a 5-year veteran, the league's all-time leading scorer, and on the brink of a championship. And tonight she meets Jackie Stiles, coming off a dream season in college, playing her final game of her rookie season. The MVP favorite and Rookie of the Year candidate face off next.
Nobody does it in my house.
Lisa Leslie with the rejection.
Bud Light is proud to sponsor the WNBA.
Excuse me, could you please pass the sugar?
Oops.
All together now.
The WNBA on ESPN is brought to you by Bud Light, proud supporter of the WNBA. By Buick, official car of the WNBA. Buick, it's all good. By Yahoo Sports, fresh sports news 24 hours a day. And by Nike.
Back in Portland as we take a look at the Fire's starting lineups in the front court. Sophia Witherspoon, Sylvia Crawley, and Kristen Foco, and Jackie Stiles is joined in the back court by Tully Bevilacqua. For Los Angeles, this is probably the starting lineup we'll see them use during the playoffs. Delisha Milton, Lisa Leslie, Mawadi Mabika up front, and in the backcourt, quite a tandem, Tamika Dixon and Yukari Figs. The head coach of the LA Sparks is Michael Cooper, and right now he's with our Leah Olson.
All right, thanks a lot, Michelle. Michael, a rare loss for you last night against the Utah Stars. It ends the 18-game winning streak. How does that affect your team?
Well, it obviously stopped something that we had going. Consistency has been our key, but we got to come out and get it all going again tonight.
You have the best record in the WNBA, yet you will be starting the playoffs on the road. Talk about that format.
Well, the format doesn't hurt us one way or the other. We've shown that we can win on the road and as well as at home. So championships are won on the road. We just got to go get one.
Good luck to you, Coach. Michelle?
Yeah, thank you. Michael Cooper's squad hasn't had much trouble on the road. They really haven't had much trouble anywhere, Doris. 4 losses all season.
Yeah, 16-0, 11-4, all 4 coming on the road. And that 3-game slide in particular at Houston, at Cleveland, and at New York before going on that 18-game win streak.
18-game winning streak, a new league record, and LA opens up the game with possession. Yukari Figgs, former Purdue star, and 1999 Final Four MVP, as a pass blocked out of bounds by Tully Bevilacqua.
As Linda Hargrove says, this game is about nothing but pride. I mean, they are in the midst of a 9-game skid and would like to end that streak to end their regular season.
Lisa Leslie driving baseline, running into some contact on the way, and Kristen Fogle, one of the top 10 rebounders in the league, comes away with the board.
Yeah, some fairly energetic defense for Portland to start, and I'll tell you, against Los Angeles, they're giving up almost 90 points in their 2 losses, so they really must defend a little bit better.
Oh, that's what these fans come to see. Jackie Stiles hit from anywhere on the floor, and she opens up the scoring for the Fire.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pleasure for us to watch through the NCAA tournament on ESPN and now in the WNBA. Jackie Stiles has been exactly what she was built to be.
Lisa Leslie, the miss, puts it back herself. 3-2 Portland, slight edge here in the early going, and the 2 stars that people have come to see are where the action is right now. Sylvia Crawley chasing down a rebound, but it goes to Dixon.
Yeah, now Jackie Stiles not 100%. She has got some injuries to her wrist, and we'll talk about that a little bit further in depth, so we wonder how her shooting will be. The first shot looked pretty pure.
Looked to be bothering her there. Look inside to Crawley. Crawley the shot. Little rainbow jumper. Portland indeed is coming out with a little bit of fire in their bellies. As you said, a 9-game losing streak. Tully Bevilacqua addressed the crowd before the game saying, we feel you're the best fans in the league. We're playing the game we love, and you give us the appreciation that we need so much. They'd love to win this for their fans.
Yeah, Lisa Leslie is going to win their appreciation with those kinds of plays. 6'5", it's just amazing how much her game has grown during the course of the last 12 months.
It truly is amazing. She has been an MVP candidate every year she's been in the league, but never before have we seen her game as polished and well-rounded as we've seen it this season.
I don't think we've seen her play with this much passion and a sense of purpose before. Certainly the all-star caliber skills are there, but there's a presence about her that hasn't been there in the past.
And that may have been instilled by Michael Cooper, a passionate coach himself. Leslie for 3. And the miss winds up in the hands of Tamika Dixon, looking around for help.
Yeah, that's the expanded arsenal we were just speaking to, Michelle. Her ability to drain it from 3 and then do this, the polished post game.
Polished, but impeded there by Bevilacqua. Finding Stiles. Stiles loves to find her own shot, but she'll dish it as well. Witherspoon the miss. Witherspoon was one of the spoons of the New York Liberty in the first couple of years of the season before she was taken in the expansion draft by Portland. Leslie again from outside the miss. Delisha Milton has the ball and casually turns around and shoots it herself. Kristen Fogle saving it, falling into an appreciative crowd along the baseline. Fast-paced game thus far. Jackie Stiles driving baseline, runs into contact, gets it back.
Wow, took a lot of contact. Yeah, no call, no whistle, you go the other end.
Here comes Milwaukee Nabika. What a sensational player. Terrific in the open floor.
Yeah, she's starting to come around offensively, and this is what Los Angeles needs. Her explosiveness, not only getting out in transition there, but her inconsistent shooting has got to get a little bit stronger, I think, in the playoffs.
Witherspoon going to the baseline, left side. Lisa Leslie gets a piece of it, saves it inbounds. Figgs will bring it up the floor, takes on Stiles, spins. And now Delisha Milton draws the foul as she attempts the shot. 15:51 to play. First half, already a fast-paced tilt. LA up 1.
ESPN's 2-minute drill.
LA up 1, and there's Jackie Stiles on the floor, a place she's found herself a number of times this season as she has learned that here in the WNBA, the contact is much tougher than it was in college.
One thing that really stands out is how physical the game is. You know, I'm going to have to adjust and change my game a little bit if I'm going to survive very long in this league, just because I take some hits, some pretty hard hits. I like to be aggressive and attack the basket. And I'm going to have to learn to really look for my three more and pull up and shoot off of one dribble, because once you get in the lane, you're going to expect to have some contact.
Well, John Thompson told Allen Iverson he's got to put on 20 pounds because you take such a physical beating in the NBA. Jackie Stiles referencing how physical the WNBA has been. It's a point well taken. There's a couple things she's got to learn. One, to read screens off the pick and roll. It's something that's got to become an effective tool for her, because right now she's coming off screens to get shots, Michelle. Got to become a better reader of pick and rolls, but women are still at the point where physical contact impedes her ability to make shots, and I think that's an officiating issue where you got to make sure that that's well handled. When somebody takes contact to the rim, that's got to be a call.
Van Chancellor has made that assessment himself, that it is tougher for women to score through contact than it is for men in the NBA. And it's just an issue of size. LA up 3, final night of the WNBA regular season, and a lot to be sorted out. Among other things, MVP, Rookie of the Year, but also playoff position. We're going to try to keep you posted of all the goings-on around the league and how it affects standings. We know that Los Angeles has the best record in the league. Even if they were to lose tonight, they would have home court advantage throughout the playoffs. The first time in the history of the league that there isn't at least one team with an opportunity to play their way into the playoffs, Michelle, but still positioning is an issue here. Moati Mabika with the 3. And for Portland, they are playing for pride, losers of 9 straight, and Jackie Stiles, certainly a Rookie of the Year candidate. Linda Hargrove believes her young star is Rookie of the Year. But there are others who think Lauren Jackson of Seattle, the other Pacific Northwest team, is the one to vote for.
Yeah, the power of television. Think of Jackie Stiles in the great run, ESPN covering her entire way through the NCAA tournament to the Final Four. Lauren Jackson playing over in Australia, but Lauren Jackson's numbers are impressive. Seattle's made an improvement under her.
Sylvia Crawley, Demaya Walker with the score after Latasha Byers blocked Stacey Thomas's shot, and that breaks up an LA run. LA was on a 7-0 run. Mabika, no good, and Latasha Byers getting in there to get the rebound. Lisa Leslie will come back in. Portland also making a substitution. Delisha Milton goes to the bench for Leslie.
Well, it's good to see Mabika so aggressive. An all-star last year, struggled early. Moati Mabika suffered through some injuries early this season, but a strong performance last night in a loss against Utah in overtime. And they need her scoring to show if they're going to win a WNBA championship.
Alyssa Burris in for Kristen Fogle on the Portland side of those subs. Tamika Dixon making the all-star squad this year. Loses it to Stacey Thomas, but there is a foul on the play. Sally Bell, Gary Zielinski, and Benita Spence, the officials at tonight's game.
I'll tell you this, Linda Hargrove has consistently praised her defense all season long. It's been the offense that has been the struggle for this team. And you mentioned Demaya Walker a moment ago, and that was an injury that really impacted this ball club. Demaya, a solid athlete, somebody who gives them solid post defense and improving as an offensive player.
Another rookie, Carolyn Young, coming in for Jackie Stiles. Of course, you mentioned that Jackie's a little bit banged up. And that may be why she gets the early rest. Nikki McCrimmon creates the steal for LA. Lisa Leslie can't hang on, and there's a foul that comes after the steal.
Yeah, that's Stacey Thomas, last year's draft choice for this team. That's 2 steals, and that's exactly why Linda Hargrove drafted Stacey Thomas out of Michigan a year ago, for her defensive prowess. Just a tremendous athlete, great hands. Somebody that certainly, as her offensive polish comes around, she's got to shoot the jumper with consistency, but she can be a player in this league, Stacey Thomas.
Lisa Leslie called for her first foul. Carolyn Young almost turns it over, but Burris hangs on, sees a lane, works it, and makes it pay.
Yeah, another player's missed some games with injury, but at 18 points in 14 minutes in their last outing against Sacramento, Burris is just a big body inside.
A good counter to Latasha Byers.
Yeah, no question.
Mawadi Mabika, terrific at creating her own shots. There she creates a 3.
Boy, timely. Michael Cooper saying that this team can get better, which has been his thinking over the course of the last 3 weeks. There's why Mabika can get better.
Bevilacqua off the mark. Oh, and you see a little bit of temper there by Demaya Walker.
This might be an elbow and a technical foul on Lisa Leslie. Gary Zielinski. Remember, the rule in the WNBA is if there's an elbow thrown, it does not have to make contact, folks. If there's a little elbow, she just extends it and keeps it up. It almost looks like she's trying to fend her off. Michael Cooper objects.
Take one more look at this, because you'll see Walker come after Leslie hard on this rebound.
Yeah, now the angle at which an official sees something is often why he'll call it. Now Lisa objects to the hard foul from behind.
Here's what's happened now. They've called the foul on Demaya Walker and given a technical to Lisa Leslie. The crowd showing its appreciation to these officials for the tee. Fans seem to love it when the stars get rung up. And another foul called underneath. And we check in now with Bristol and Pam Ward.
Thanks, Michelle. We're keeping a close eye on a couple of games. Charlotte winning in Miami. Dawn Staley going to find Allison Feaster, the former Harvard star, taking it into the hoop. Miami needs to win to secure the #2 spot in the East. If Miami loses and New York wins, they're #2, but New York is losing to the Mystics. We'll keep you up to date on that, Michelle.
Pam, thank you. Out here on the West, keeping an eye on those Eastern Conference scores. But really the only maneuvering going on there is between those two teams, Miami and New York.
Yeah, and don't underestimate the pressure is impacting performance in those 2 games. There's so much at stake. The Miami-New York series, most times it is dictated by who is the home team.
Get a look here at the East standings. Cleveland has run away with the Eastern Conference title, but you look at Miami and New York tied up at 20 and 11. Miami owns the tiebreak there, so even if they both won, Miami would move on in second. New York would not have home court advantage in that series. Charlotte will take on Cleveland.
How about Charlotte? Now remember the 1-10 start that Ann Donovan's team. They have engineered the best single season turnaround in WNBA history. And for the first time in the Eastern Conference, 3 teams get over 20 wins. And I mentioned that, Michelle, because I think there's a tendency for people to think the West has got the best opportunity at the title. And certainly with Miami, Cleveland, and New York, you've got legitimate contenders out of the East.
Improvement across the board in these teams' records. Nikki McCrimmon finds herself all alone for the easy lay-in, and Mawadi Mabika was there to make sure it went.
Yeah, job 1 against Los Angeles. You've got to make this team play in a half court. Although they are proficient there, they are explosive when they get out and run.
This has been a fast-paced game. 11:42 to go first half. 16-10 LA with a 6-point margin, looking not only to redeem themselves for their rare loss against Utah last night, but also to be playing at their peak as they head into the playoffs. Carolyn Young, the 3.
Now remember, Young was acquired in place of Tari Phillips, and that exchange did not look great when it was first made. Obviously, Tari, an all-star now for New York. It's really a matter of time for Carolyn Young to perform. She's had some injuries. She missed a season due to pregnancy. She will come around.
9 on the shot clock. Mabika is fouled by Carolyn Young. LA hanging on to a 3-point lead, being really pushed here by an 11-20 Portland team.
The magic.
Welcome back, everyone. The Sparks are on top of the fire by 3. So now you wonder what Jackie Stiles likes to do with her free time. Well, she plays basketball, of course. In her off days, Jackie Stiles competed in a game of horse with David Moreno. Now, David Moreno won the opportunity to play with Jackie with a bid of $2,235 in an auction from the Sears Breast Health auction. Now, as you can see, Jackie had to pull out some of her better moves right here. And, of course, the rookie phenom won the game. Michelle Doris, would you dare to take Jackie Stiles on in a game of horse?
Never. Never. Not if I expected to beat her. I have no chance. Doris, you played at Providence. You have a chance.
They paid a hefty fee for that privilege of getting absolutely spanked in a game of horse. And Jackie did not practice yesterday. She has got tendonitis in the right wrist, a swollen left wrist, among a host of injuries that she has endured. But you watch her on the sideline. Look at her knees. They're shaking. She's constant movement, even when she's on the bench.
Constant motion. She's got that 1 3-pointer, has only played 6 minutes tonight, resting some of those injuries. You know she'd prefer to be out there playing. She'd play through anything to play in the game, to be in the game, to be in front of the fans, but mostly to just be playing with her teammates. And it is the final game of the season for her and her team, so it's probably killing her to be sitting on that sideline.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. We'll see if she goes overseas in the off-season, but they could use her right now. LA going into that 2-3 zone that they often mix in with their man-to-man, Michelle. The last couple sets, we'll see if they do it again here.
Look at Carolyn Young coming up with the steal. Portland playing with a lot of energy tonight. Great energy, a sense of pride, defensively very strong, chasing after loose balls.
Yeah, you'd never know this is a team that has 11 wins in a year, Michelle, and really nothing at stake here other than trying to snap a skid.
Rhonda Mapp takes it away on the entry pass to Crawley. Mapp, another veteran with playoff experience when she was with Charlotte. Played in 2 different seasons of postseason games. There's Mabika. Loves that spot from the floor. Just no trouble for her.
If you're a team around the league watching Los Angeles at this point, you see Mawadi Mabika start to shoot the basketball like she's capable, you're shaking your head because this team leads the league in scoring, and that's with her really underperforming through most of the year because of the injuries.
She's got 3 threes so far, and once again, LA in the open floor, McCrimmon the miss. Biggs taps it out of bounds. It's Portland ball, but Portland continuing to put that aggressiveness on LA.
Yeah, I mean, you've talked about the energy. Watch them go ahead and contest shots and go ahead and gather rebounds. Toli Bevilacqua comes down, gives assistance on the post, and then you've got everybody scrapping, hustling for loose basketballs. They've certainly been physical, setting the tone, but they're not ready to back away from what looks to be the leading team for a WNBA championship.
Now, people said it last year about Los Angeles. And then they ran into a buzzsaw called Houston in the playoffs. That was a full-strength Houston team. Houston has not looked as strong in the second half of the season this year. And certainly LA remembers that feeling very keenly of getting absolutely trounced by Houston in the playoffs and knocked out before they were ready.
Yeah, the question seems to be, does the experience they endured last season translate to better performance in the clutch games this season?
I predict it will. And they are so talent-laden and have done everything to improve themselves. Boy, Portland is really just playing with so much electricity. Witherspoon chasing down that ball and then hitting the wide-open 3.
Well, you look at the loose balls, and right now it seems like Portland is getting to every one of them.
And you know, this is a wonderful tribute to the fans here at the Rose Garden. I don't think they expected to get this much of a treat from this team. Finally, Nikki McCrimmon slows down the up and down pace of this game just a little bit. 4-point lead for Los Angeles. And there's your leading MVP candidate. So desperate to win a ring is Lisa Leslie.
Yeah, Portland doesn't care that LA has got 27 wins. They're trying to prevent 28. They're playing with great energy, and Sophia Witherspoon gets the steal on one end, turns it to the other direction. They are in a ball game.
These are quarter carats.
Missing the playoffs this year, but they're giving New York a dogfight. Helen Luz is going to come up on this end, take it in on the fast break. Washington on top of New York by 1, but Miami losing to the Sting by 5. The Soul shooting only 18% from the floor. Again, New York has to win and Miami lose in order for New York to get that number 2 seed. Back to Michelle.
So much to ponder and so much to see. Thursday, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2, the WNBA 2001 playoff preview. Then Thursday at 8 and 10 Eastern, Game 1 of the East and Western Conference Round 1. And Friday at 7 and 9, the other Round 1s of East and West will be played on ESPN.
The least talked about of the 8 teams in the playoffs is Charlotte. And folks, this is a team that has ridden a 12-game streak where an opponent has not scored 60 points. They are putting a hurting on Miami, an abysmal shooting percentage for the Soul. And do not underestimate Charlotte. They beat Cleveland twice in the regular season.
And that is right there an important statement. Cleveland the best team in the East. Charlotte may have their number. 20-16. Still just a 4-point lead here from Los Angeles, coming off of that overtime loss in Utah last night, 80-78. At the hands of the Stars, who they could very well meet, Doris, in round 1 of the playoffs.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting match, and they're continuing with this 2-3 zone. There are some wrinkles that Los Angeles has shown this season that they've not pulled out. They played a boxing one against Minnesota on Katie Smith. Yeah, Michael Cooper said, I haven't used my full bag of tricks yet. It'll be interesting to see what he pulls out.
Tamika Dixon losing that one. Here comes Jackie Stiles, 1 of 5 from the floor so far tonight. She has played sparingly and again runs into that physical contact where Tasha Byers called for the foul. That's 2 on Byers.
Well, she told us earlier she loves to attack the rim, and you and I were talking, Michelle, the word you used for Jackie Stiles was fearless, and you're exactly right. This is a young lady who does not fear situations, shots. She just plays the game with a passion.
There are players who have said to us that when they find themselves so wide open for shots, even the easiest high percentage shots, sometimes they almost panic. Think, I have to make this. Particularly the younger players in this league who are still a little bit in awe of playing professionally here in the States and playing around some of the greats that they idolized growing up. 6:26 to go, first half. Portland and Los Angeles here at the Rose Garden.
This is the rookie class. Michelle, you make a good point. This rookie class is the first class that had the WNBA to look to. And so these players have been watching this league for a long time,
hoping and dreaming they could be part of it. A whistle and a foul called on Mawadi Mabika. And that's 2 on the 24-year-old out of Kinshasa, Congo. I am surprised that this is a 4-point game. Leslie up for the rebound. 4th rebound of the game for the MVP candidate who leads the league in so many categories, or rather is in the top 5 in so many statistical categories: scoring, rebounding, field goal percentage. Another steal for Carolyn Young, who's making her presence felt in this game. Stiles kicking out to Bevilacqua. I am tremendously impressed not only with Carolyn Young, but the entire offensive presence of this Portland team.
I'll tell you this, Carolyn Jones-Young is checking Milton, giving up some size, and she made a great defensive play, so it's only apropos that she get the bucket on the opposite end.
Young has 6 points. Here's Lisa Leslie, just up the top of the key.
Okay, you see Kristen Fogler. She's used to guarding pure posts, and Alicia's ability to step away from face up now really is a challenge to defenders to come out and guard it. And that is a great catch and turnaround shoot by Kristen Fogler. She lost her starting job earlier in the season and has won it back with play like that. And her rebounding, one of the league's leaders, averaging almost 8 a game. She's got 5 here tonight. You know you can count on her for rebounding. As her offensive game comes around, look out. Surprisingly, she hits 45% from 3. Now, she hasn't taken a lot of them, but she can make them. Oh, great pass by Yukari Figs. And you job one again with Los Angeles. You've got to stop the point guard early because Figs, Dixon, Mabika, those players are averaging almost 12 to the 18 assists. They do a great job finding people. Figs and Dixon, numbers 7 and 8, respectively, in the league in assists. Burris, rebounded by Leslie. And a bounce pass into Milton, draws a foul, and that's number 2 on Carolyn Young. As some substitutions come in, Demaya Walker back in the game along with Nikki McCrimmon. Now that's a matchup that's got to pay off because Young is giving up too much size to Milton, and Milton's been posting hard. Los Angeles hasn't gotten her the basketball. Delisha Milton at the line as a 78% free throw shooter. Now, WNBA.com's playoff section will launch Wednesday morning, including series previews by our very own Doris Burke. Log on and check it out. You're going to be very busy this week. Well, Michael Cooper, his thoughts are turning to Thursday, I'm sure, after this tourney is finished. He has been anxious. He boldly stated they are the team to beat for this championship. He has also stated we can be better. Kristen Fogler, terrific ball movement being exhibited here tonight by the Portland Fire. I've never seen this team play this well. 26-22, a 4-point difference, and Jackie Stiles. Will she be Rookie of the Year? Remember, Lauren Jackson is out there as well. We'll compare them when we come back.
Y'all ready for this?
The number 1 pick in the 2001 WNBA draft, Lauren Jackson, the silver medalist from Australia, 6'5", combination skills, top 5 player in the world, and the number 4 overall selection, Jackie Stiles, as advertised, a threat from anywhere on the floor, 43% from 3. Who is the Rookie of the Year? I'll tell you statistically, Michelle, points are even up. The percentage on the bottom 3-point, Jackie is amazing. Rebounds, the edge goes to Jackson. You normally think Stiles is the younger of the two coming out of college, but Jackson is just 20 years of age, and Stiles now 22. And I mean, that is as close a race. It's happened in the past where in the NBA, you've had co-rookies of the year. This is a very close race. And it makes you wonder if we'll have that kind of a first here in the WNBA because it is so close. McCrimmon hitting from baseline. But think, in the year 2000, Elton Brand and Steve Francis shared the award in the NBA. Back in 95, it was Jason Kidd and Grant Hill. And even in 71, Jeff Petrie and Dave Cowens split the tie there. And if there ever were going to be a year, this would certainly be the one. No question. Great steal by Bevilacqua. Just anticipating the pass and getting right in front of it. Just over 3 minutes to play first half. And this has been a very entertaining up-tempo ball game with a lot of that. A lot of three-point shooting by Portland. That one courtesy Sophia Witherspoon. Well, they continue to turn LA over and get points off. That's 15 points off LA's turnovers. Portland 4 of 11 from 3. Then you can expect to see that from Milwaukee Mabika. Lisa Leslie missing on the drive. They get her a lot of isolation looks on the right side of the floor, both from the wing and the elbow, and she makes excellent use of it. Demaya Walker, as you mentioned, missed a good chunk of the season with injury, but back and playing well. This one really comes down to who wants it more. Los Angeles doesn't need it. It really needs very little other than 5 for Portland, so whoever desires it is going to get it. I think Michael Cooper is going to give an inspired halftime speech. We know what he's capable of. We've talked all night about exactly how hard defensively Portland has played. Toli Bevilacqua, the anticipation on the outlet pass And Witherspoon against a 2-3 zone finds the gap and drains it. That's the kind of thing that Michael Cooper's going to say, we can't allow that. If you're giving that up to a Portland team who's lost 9 straight and is 11 of 20 overall, one of the worst teams in the league, what are you going to do in the playoffs? He wants his team playing at its peak. Again, they are coming off that loss last night, played extra minutes. This is an early game. This is an early start for a WNBA game. 5 on the West Coast.
So LA hasn't had a lot of time to recover.
They haven't, Michelle. 3 of their starters played 40 or more minutes, and all 5 played at least 39. So this is a point well taken. McCrimmon throwing the pass to Delisha Milton, who did not get to her spot in time. And it's another turnover. That's the 10th on the Sparks. Coming up on the American General Sports Center in-game halftime report, Pam Ward will talk about all the playoff positioning that we're mentioning, and Van Chancellor will visit. She'll get a chance to talk to him as well. I think pride will be an important part of the discussion at half for Los Angeles. Another 3 by Sophia Witherspoon. She's got 3 3-pointers in this game. She is on fire, no pun intended. Van Chancellor watching the developments, and perhaps his game against Phoenix, the most telltale of the night. That one with huge implications for the Western Conference standings. Latasha Byers called for foul number 3, and that's kind of her MO. She comes into the game, but she gets into foul trouble generally in the first half. This is nothing new. She'll take a seat, and Yukari Figgs will come back in. Pretty nice-sized crowd here tonight for this final regular season game, and they're excited by what they're seeing. Demaya Walker almost stripped and then turns it over on the pass to Crawley. Well, some credit to the Los Angeles defense in that situation. They tighten the reins. Tie ball game, and how excited is Portland? Lisa Leslie tries to get the lead back, but Crawley has the rebound. Leslie is 3 of 10 from the floor. Witherspoon finds Stiles. We're under a minute to play here in the first half. Well, this 2-3 zone, is he pleased with what he's seeing, or is he resting legs, or is he trying to work out kinks for the playoffs? You wonder what Michael Cooper's thought process is. A great point. It was about 4 on the shot clock. Portland turns it over. Beacon and McCrimmon sees a wide open Figgs on the other side of the floor. Milton now running into Walker. Demaya Walker taking the charge and bringing this crowd to its feet. I think they missed Demaya Walker during the course of the season. Fiery, defensive-minded, makes plays. Second foul on Milton. A tie ball game with 20.7 to go. Los Angeles, a 27-4 team, probably didn't expect this kind of challenge tonight.
Are you open? Open to the new spirit of hair color? Introducing Open, the first soft permanent color gel by L'Oreal with low ammonia and botanical conditioners for soft touch hair. Get Open, vibrantly natural color gel by L'Oreal Paris.
Some might see it as a pile of rocks, but it's really...
Sweetie, why don't you go get a drink?
Good idea.
All-imported hops give Michelob Light a smooth, satisfying taste you won't find in an ordinary beer.
So organic.
It makes me feel so insignificant.
Tell me about Man with Michelob Light.
Beer or Michelob Light?
Oh, there you are.
Ma'am, please don't touch the art.
Know how to spot a die-hard battery owner? Look for their jumper cables. Die Hard, America's most trusted battery with 30 years of starting power. How much do you trust your battery?
Like most men who traded their 32-inch waists for fatherhood, I know he wishes he had more time to spend in the gym, lifting weights, running, doing the stuff he did before we had kids. All to become some fitter, younger, supposedly more sexy version of himself. But what he doesn't realize is the stuff he does instead blows the other version out of the water.
Live the flavor. Jolly Rancher watermelon.
Demaya Walker has missed 11 games due to injury, but her impact is felt tonight. Gets in front of Delisha Milton, takes the charge, and the energy and enthusiasm has been there all night. She says, thank you very much. I'm not sure who she's thanking, the crowd or the officials. But you know what? She should thank the officials. That one was close. Didn't appear to have her feet set and in position. Regardless, Portland has rallied from a 7-point deficit, have tied the best team in the league at 30 apiece. Tully Bevilacqua, shot clock is off. Bevilacqua bringing it up the floor for Portland. And 10 seconds to go, first half. Witherspoon has had the hot hand, certainly. Well guarded by Figgs. Tries to launch one, and it's an air ball, but Sophia Witherspoon was hot from outside the arc, Doris. Well, a career 30% three-point shooter, but she had it going on in the first half. Tracks down a loose ball, squares and fires. Gets in between the gap and the zone 2 times. And drains it for 3. She was sensational. 9 points in the last 8 minutes, and she is with Leah Olson.
All right, thanks a lot, Michelle. A great game for you so far. Your team's hanging in there with LA. Where's it coming from?
Well, just a lot of energy. This is our last game of the season. We don't have anything to lose. We have a great fan support here tonight, and we just want to come out and just play for ourselves and for our fans.
What do you have to do in the second half to finish it off?
Be stronger than we are in the first half. Don't let them get off on the offensive end, so we got to play great defense and be ready for them.
All right, good luck to you. Thank you. Michelle?
Tie ball game, Leah. 30 apiece, LA and Portland. We now join Pam Ward for the American General Sports Center in-game halftime report. Pam?